Assalamu alaikum. So today we will be learning what's the difference between server-side rendering and client-side rendering. So in server-side rendering, our client first requests the server to get the HTML page from the server, and then the server renders the whole page with the required data, even if it has to fetch some data from another server or another DB. And then our server respond back with the HTML page that is fully rendered with the required data. This data could be dynamic data and could be fetched from different endpoints or either DB. Now we will see how we can implement server-side rendering in Next.js 14. So here's a demo code that I have already made. Let me explain it. So in the pages, we have a blogs page that is just shows the data with the map over the blobs, and then we have the API blogs that is under the source pages API blogs.ts, and what it does is just fetch the data from the blogs. That is just static data here. This is static data, and then it returns the JSON of it. So for server-side rendering in Next, we need to use getServerSideProps. What it does is the function that is called in the server to get all the props that are related to our HTML page. So basically we are fetching our blogs in this getServerSideProps. We are fetching through fetch method and then JSONify it, and then we are just returning props, this blogs that we got from here. And when we um, define our component blogs, we can see that we are having a prop named blogs. We can simply loop over it and render it. And now if I go over here and do localhost blogs, so I can see all of the blogs are here. And now you can see if I show you the network tab and refresh it, we can see that we are only requesting blogs.js. That is basically our page. We are not requesting the actual blogs backend API. We are only fetching the HTML page. So that HTML page is being rendered at the server side and then sent to the client side with all of the blogs data in it. Now let's see how client-side rendering works. Client-side rendering is basically when a client asks for an HTML page from the server and server does not send the whole page, but rather it just sends the structure of our HTML, basic structure of HTML, and then client is responsible to render the whole structure of HTML using the JavaScript. In this case, we cannot fetch any props in the server side, rather we need to fetch the props or args that in our case that were blocks at the client side, so client can use those blocks to render our HTML page. Now let's see how we can create a client side rendering in Next.js. So basically we need to make uh, another page inside pages, so pages directory index.js, and now uh, here in the client blogs, we have the same component as our blogs component, but here we are not using get server side props as this is a client component. We have already told Next.js that this is the client component. So we cannot use get server side props here. And hence we are fetching the data inside our component and then setting it as a state and then rendering that state in our component. So let's head over to browser and see how it works. Now we can see our client-side rendering is happening, and now we can see that blogs are fetched dynamically. If I keep on pressing reload, we can see that there is a loading button, loading text that appears dynamically. So client-side rendering is good when you need to have interactive HTML page, and server-side rendering is useful when you need fast loading of the HTML pages and the SEO. That's it, guys.